So I said to Benny, there's no way you're going to fit that entire Baconator in your mouth. Oh, hey guys. Sorry, I didn't see you there. How you guys doing? Welcome to another SES live stream. We're back here today with Andy, our 3D graphic designer from the vehicles department. How you doing, Andy?
Hello, everybody. Doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
So last episode, we decided to start a new series where we would do some real-time 3D modeling. We did that once before as well.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
With the Mac Bulldog. And this time we're here making a new moose bumper, or Rugard, as you down under folks would say, for the W900. Yeah, this is how far we got last time. If you want to see from start to finish, you can check out the last episode. Yeah, so Andy, where are we at?
Yeah, so last time we did the blockout phase, and this time we will start detailing it. So we're going through different stages of the model. But I think before we dive into it today, maybe we should fix some mistakes I did last time. So that's how we can start this. So if you remember, we were doing the cylinders here in the middle.
Tubes.
Yeah, tubes, cylinders, same thing.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get the spacing right. So I figured out a solution. So I think we're going to start from there. We're going to just tweak the blockout a little bit, and then we're just going to start to take it piece by piece. I'll do my best to slow down and try to keep up with the chat, but it's kind of difficult for me to focus on the modeling and the chat at the same time. So if you catch some questions...
Yeah, I'll pay attention to the chat.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
focus on this. I got these guys handled. Don't worry about it. Chat, it's just you and me. As we discussed in the last stream, we're making a brand new custom bumper, which was designed by me and Stenda together, mainly Stenda. I just kind of gave him some points and he adjusted based on my feedback. So we have this kind of like really modern looking moose bumper with these square outer tubes instead of the typical, I don't know what you would call them, but typically it's just these like uprights, these 4 uprights. And then the top one is just another tube, but we've gone with this kind of square top tube to kind of really make it kind of a futuristic design, as you can see over there. Andy's been putting it together for us.
Concept art right here.
Yeah, from Stenda.
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is to get the spacing right. I've just moved the cylinder inside of the pillar here to get the center axis of it kind of in this position. And then I'm creating a helper geometry, which will extend to the center of that circle. So now, if I duplicate this, flip it, and I'll just make a helper geometry, just so I can...
Whoa, slow.
Yeah.
So this is all in an effort to make sure these tubes are nice and evenly spaced apart in the center here.
Yeah.
So last time we did it from the center of those square tubes without taking into account that they're much wider than the cylinders were. So now we have this helper geometry. So he's making basically new shapes that he's going to use just for reference points. And this will help us make sure they're spaced nice and evenly, because we are big fans of symmetry here at SES Software when we can.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a second. Yes, I'm just trying to create 4 edge loops here, which will serve as my guide to where I should center the tubes. So in my insert edge loop tool, I can use multiple edge loops. I need 4 of them. And as you can see, Maya will automatically space them out equally for me. So now we have the correct distance, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll freeze this one because we don't need it. And I think now we can just duplicate it and just align it to the helper geometry. And I think at this point we can just, I think it's easier like that. Yeah. So now I can get rid of my helper geometry and this one, and that looks evenly spaced now. So I think we did it.
I'm digging it. It looks good. Yeah,
looks
it looks
much
proper
better
now,
than what we had last time around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now we can say that we're concluded with our blockout phase, and we can start to...
This would be the phase when I can start making some more tweaks?
Yeah, if you have more suggestions or feedbacks.
I think we should raise that top bar just a little bit. I was watching the last stream a little bit, And I think we should bring it up, right to the bottom of that Kenworth logo, pretty much.
I see.
Yeah.
So you want it kind of snug.
Yeah, because you can see the grill bars just kind of peeking out the top there, and I think it would be nice to kind of cover those up to really accentuate the guard rather than the...
So like that, if we look at it from the front.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay. We could do that. Just going to align it nicely with this, but we kind of wanted that. Yeah.
Did you leave the first tube inside the grill?
No, I deleted it.
Yeah, somebody's asking if it would affect performance, and absolutely would, because you just have extra polys in there.
Yeah,
now, I mean, one in there would be like pretty, not a very big deal at all, but of course, if we had the habit of doing this all the time, and there's more and more of these hidden polys left all over the truck, of course, this would absolutely affect
Well, you just
want
to keep things clean and enforce the standards. So.
Yeah. We even do it within the code. If there's any needless like lines of code inside the that ends up inside of the game, somehow we go through and optimize where we can, because everything just takes computing power, obviously, right?
Exactly. We want to save as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So are we happy with the overall proportions?
Can we take a look at the front view at the side to see how it compares to the fender, the side of the fender?
The side?
Yeah. So like if you can align the camera with like the side of the bumper, but looking forward. Like looking from the front. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So yeah, I would just want to make sure we were kind of like farther out than the bumper. And I would say we probably could move it out just a little bit farther, the upright bar, not the bumper itself. I would almost say make that upright bar.
This one, right?
Yeah, I would say make it flush with the bumper maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. So now it should be perfectly aligned.
Mm-hmm.
We have some intersecting clipping faces, but we'll be fixing them during our detailing process. So.
Okay. We could maybe even, make exactly.
Yeah. Right. So now we can start getting into the nitty-gritty details of it.
Okay.
And I would start with the main part of it. So a few things I can notice. We have also a little bit of a curve here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say it would be more appropriate to make it something like that?
I don't think so. Actually, I think, the typical style that a lot of guys go with for aftermarket bumpers is this kind of boxy box end bumper.
So we can keep it.
Yeah, flat. I think maybe obviously we should round it a little bit to make it more, make it look more of a,
Could add a cut here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Just raise this a little bit. Because you can see on the concept it's a little round. But again, we can play around with it.
Yeah, actually,
that
doesn't look bad.
You, how you want to do it.
I'm open to it, man. This is a group project between you, me, and Stenda, so we can adjust it as we go if we don't like it. We can
just iterate and riff as we go. I think something like that might actually... looks kind of nicer, if you ask me. I don't know what chat thinks about that.
Yeah, chat, do you have an opinion what the bottom of the bumper should look like? Should we have this taper in it, or should it be just kind of straight?
So far, no thoughts. Okay. Yeah, we can keep it like this, and it should be lower. All right. So maybe we just roll with it on a more classic style. And yeah, I'm getting more for flat, so we'll keep it flat.
Turth 3565 in the YouTube chat is asking which software is better for modeling, Blender or Maya?
No such thing as better. It's just what you prefer, honestly. What is more convenient for you to use as well. Because keep in mind, Blender's free, so I think it's much easier to get into it than other tools. But as far as better or worse, I mean, they all have their upsides and downsides. I personally like Maya because it's what I've used throughout my career, so I'm just more used to it.
Did you, I think I might ask this last stream, but you used it even before you came to SCS?
Yeah, absolutely. I started in the movie industry, so that's how I got used to it.
Can you tell us what kind of movies you worked on? Anything famous? Mission Impossible?
Not really, but I can tell you the studio worked on like a lot of blockbuster Hollywood movies as well. I know they even were rendering some seasons of Game of Thrones in-house.
Really?
Yeah. They were working on... You can actually check out their website for their repertoire.
Did you get to do anything like really fun, like a dragon, or were you doing like
I was doing animations mostly.
Oh, okay.
I signed an NDA, so I can't really talk too much about it, but
Those darn MDAs, I tell you.
The movie studio is called FX3X. So if you look up their website, you can see what projects they worked on.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot there. So, but anyways, so these bumpers on the inside, they should be more hollowed out like that, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of stuff going on back there.
Yeah.
But basically,
the way that as a separate mesh later on.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that would be really nice of a depth effect that we could do. Because if it's just flat, I think that's kind of boring. So
yeah. Typically, these bumpers have a bracket that bolts onto where the normal bumper would bolt onto.
Yeah.
And there's a hinge on that, and that hinge is what bolts to that bumper. So that way you can fold the rhubar down, or the moose bumper, or grill guard, whatever you want to call it. You can fold that down so that you can then open the hood as well.
Yeah. All right. So for this next part, it's pretty easy. We're just going to add a bunch of bevels.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to grab these edges.
Oh, actually, hold on. I see one more thing looking at the concept.
Yep.
If we go back, it looks like the parts of the bumper under the fender actually extend farther higher. Do you see what I mean? If you look at...
Like this part? Or what?
To the left a little bit. So here, let me grab the mouse here.
Yep.
So if you see this part right here extends higher than this part to fill in that gap with the fender. Because the grill extends a little lower than the fender does. You know what I mean?
No, not really, because to me, this looks like a flat line.
Okay, well, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. Maybe you just have a different perspective. I don't know.
Hold on, let me go full screen on...
But it should be a flat line, because I've done plenty of these before. And sometimes they actually go in the middle, down.
We're making a new one.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you how you want to approach the design.
Wait, so you did the Lone Star bumper before? Was that you?
No, not the Lone Star. I think I did a bunch for the LT.
Oh, okay. Is it feasible / possible to use EG UV mapping to add, for example, welds to the different parts?
We have usually for welds on the tanks, for example, we have a separate normal map, which the weld is just the line. And we use a separate UV set on those edges to get that effect going. So, yeah.
Okay.
We can get into more complex texturing methods later on in this kind of series, I guess. But for the time being, we're just focusing on the modeling. But yeah, it would be cool to showcase some of the techniques we use to get like high fidelity but really low file size assets in the game.
Verkill in the YouTube chat is asking, is it necessary to triangulate the mesh before packing, or will the game engine take care of that?
It's nice if you do some manual triangulation, because sometimes Maya or Blender or whatever tool set you use will decide to triangulate for you on export anyways, because to the GPU, everything is triangulated anyways, even though you're previewing a quad mesh or an Ngon mesh, it doesn't really matter. So sometimes, like for example here, as I think is a perfect example, we have an Ngon, but to the computer, it's actually triangulated. And if I hit this button here, you see this is what Maya decided to do for the triangulation.
Oh.
Which actually sometimes it's really bad, especially when you have these long kind of pinched triangles. They can cause more performance issues than regular size. And the reason is any triangle that becomes smaller than the size of a pixel is much harder for the GPU to render. So they're called micro triangles or subpixel triangles, and you really want to be avoiding those.
And you have some way that you can eliminate that?
Yeah, I'll show a little later how I
deal
with that. But right now I just want to get some bevels going on this so that we can start to get the shape looking a little more natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in real life, these would probably be like, it probably wouldn't be like so hard right angles. In some way, it would be either a rolled piece of steel that was then welded into a box at the end, or extruded even, possibly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite basic, but the design, it's quite blocky, but you see how much the bevels add.
So what are you doing there when you're switching from the kind of hard angles to getting this round angle on it? How are you doing that?
All I did is bevels. So I'll just repeat it on this part. but it's very simple. So I just grab an edge, and I press Control B, or just bevel, and then if I hold my middle mouse, I can just control.
Right, but when you do it here, it looks like it's like still quite blocky. But then when you
so what I did is basically just softening and hardening edges.
Okay,
it's what we covered last time.
Right. So that's right. We did talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the difference between hardened edges, and that's when we softened them. Now they look very natural and smooth. But we're starting to run into some issues with our shading. As you can see, this is partly due to the triangulation, partly due to the shading. So there are several ways that we can fix this. First, I would typically not leave my triangles like that. I would always take my multi-cut and I would add an edge like that, just so that I can get rid of those long stretched micro triangles.
Okay.
Even though in this case, I'm not happy with this one, but sometimes you have to make compromises.
Right.
Or what we could do, actually, maybe we can fix it another way. So sometimes these, they're like a puzzle. You're just trying to figure out how to do. You can also do it like that, but then kind of maybe messes with our shading a little bit.
Right.
So
I think it looked okay.
I think I would probably just... What we can do is also save a little bit on triangles. Oops. And maybe even merge these, which would probably be much better because it doesn't make a visual difference. And now we've gotten rid of that triangulation issue. So now we can also actually merge these two to the center. Yeah, you can see it barely makes a visible difference.
Now I have a question. Do you also deal with the textures when you're working, or are you purely only blocking out and
we do everything from start to finish.
So someone in the chat here has a question. What is the process of creating textures for the truck, such as the dashboard, seats, etc.? Do you use any specific software for this, or is it all done manually?
We use a combination of Photoshop, the Substance suite, so that would include Substance Designer, Substance Painter, and Substance... what was it called? The third one in their set, which is really cool because you can take pictures with your phone or your camera and just import them and create tileable textures.
Really?
In a few clicks. Yeah, it's amazing. I actually did a few of them for, I think, the DAF XD and for other trucks as well. So, and I know some of my colleagues really use Substance Designer extensively. So we typically just make the textures like that, and then we apply materials specifically for that, which are mostly using tileable textures for the trucks. But for the AI, it's different. We only have one large texture for the whole vehicle there because we're trying to minimize the draw calls.
Right.
Yeah. And what draw calls are basically is the amount of textures and materials that you need to render an asset. So in the case of a truck, we would have 20 plus materials for the interior.
Is this same for AI trucks as well, or just for the other trucks?
No, they're baked down to a single. So
they are?
Yeah, exactly. All of the AI stuff, we try to get that draw call down to as much as we can.
And another question we have here, actually a couple questions. First from BTTF Marty. Is there a way to render the project without making it blurry? Now, I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure he does, and I bet you do.
I don't really understand the
Oh, he doesn't? Okay.
question.
Well, sorry, Marty. You're out of luck. Another question from Heroic Trucker. Is there any project you've been working on, Andy?
Yes, many that I cannot talk about.
Yeah, we got some super duper secret stuff going on.
Tons of projects in the pipeline.
Yeah, but maybe you can tell us about some of the projects you worked in the past. Now, we know Andy did the LT rework. We did a stream with him where we both went for a very... how would you describe that drive we did in our LTs? Very hectic, chaotic?
I think it showed my lack of skills in driving a truck. But yeah, that's something I worked on. But I've also done small detailing work on many of the trucks that released in the past. So for the DAF XD, I was helping my lead finish up the interior. For the Iveco S-Way that just dropped, I was helping out on the lights.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it depends, because my current project as well, I'm making something from scratch, like full model exterior plus interior plus animations plus texturing everything by myself. So my day-to-day job is kind of different.
Air Crew's asked if do you do the entire truck yourself or do the entire team work on different parts of the truck together? And I think I can answer that. Generally speaking, usually we have one guy do the exterior and one guy does the interior. It kind of gets hectic when you have different people doing different things because you're working within a scene and everything has to line up and match up and work with each other properly, right? Now, there are times, obviously, like Andy's describing, where he's going to do the entire truck by himself, inside and out.
Yeah, it depends on the task. Sometimes we find it easier to do full interior and exterior alone.
Like when you did the rework for the LT, International LT, that was all you,
Yeah, it
right?
was all me. Yeah, I did the full exterior and interior by myself. But because that makes more sense, because if there's more artists involved, then we can't really keep track of the progress, I think. So it really depends. Every task has its own needs, and not everything is the same. But right now I'm just trying to make these cutouts. It should be something like that, I think. What do you think about this cut I did on the bottom? You digging it or not?
Oh yeah, no, I actually really like that.
Yeah, just adds a little bit more pizzazz. Yeah, so typically when I do cuts, I like to use helper geometry again. You see I use it a lot because it's very convenient. Because otherwise you have to kind of guess where to cut. But helper geometry helps you visualize how things go. It's like a pre-visualization process in a way. Because you can just zoom out and look at it. It's like, oh, okay, that's how it would look.
Now,
so maybe
actually, these holes I'm not so sure about. I think it kind of somehow kills the look of the bumper. What do you think?
I like them, but maybe we can spice them up a little.
Something that's like very common in the custom truck tuning world, aka going to Rainey's Truck Parts and just buying stuff and bolting it on, is these blind mount super smooth bumpers. So you won't see any bolts, no holes, nothing. The only thing that's on the bumper is whatever lights you decide to drill and mount, or the license plate.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking with this bumper, because it has that nice big flat surface, I think we should kind of go for that same blind mount look. What we can maybe do...
I would agree with you, but I think for the sake of the stream, maybe we should complicate it a little.
Chat, you're ruining my life. Well, what I was going to say is what we could do is add a license plate hanger with the hole behind it. Because there needs to be a hole for the tow hook, right?
Okay.
What do you think?
Maybe we can just leave one in the middle.
Yeah, I would move it up maybe, because that license plate, you're probably going to want it mounted like higher, like maybe in the center kind of the bumper.
Like that.
I go a little higher. Yeah, right there. Up and down a little bit. Up 3 pixels. Yeah, okay, maybe down just a little. I'm just messing with you. That's good.
Okay. And we get rid of these ones?
Yeah, I would get rid of those ones. Okay. Unless we want to put fog lights in the bumper, but
they would be more on the side, wouldn't they?
Huh? They'd be more on the side, and I wouldn't mess with it. I think,
okay. So then on my helper geometry, I will just bevel these edges. And try to get the rounded corners how I like. I think that's good enough. And then we can just grab our multi-cut and I'll just place points down at random because it doesn't matter. Can just snap them to...
Oh, I make it just a straight up square hole, but if you want to get fancy with it, by all means. We're going to cover this up with a license plate anyway, so...
Okay, so
I have to find a reference photo of a license plate hanger, don't I?
All right.
Let me find one.
No, the reason I want to make a complex hole is to show that the shading will get ruined and how we go about fixing that.
Oh, man. You're going to have a fun time with that. Actually, no, that's not too bad.
Right, so I don't need that anymore. Can get rid of that. And now we have a hole in our bumper. And because it's all flat, now we can move it if we're not happy with how it looks.
Do you know what a piano hinge is?
I'll put it a little more down like that. No, I don't.
Okay. That's we're off to a bad start here with the license plate hanger. Well, let's finish everything else, then we can do the license plate after.
Exactly. So we can always triangulate like that. But then we get this disgusting pinching triangle. So we don't want that. So I'm just going to... The great thing about multi-cut...
What do we have right now for triangles?
Count?
No, just like on that bumper, what do we have for triangles?
Yeah, I mean the polycount.
Yeah.
For just this part.
Yeah.
36, which is nothing.
No, but you were talking about these triangles, right? And what's on the bumper right now?
No. I'm talking about... So it's not just about the triangle count. You also have to be wise about your topology. Is because when you see this type of triangulation, this is actually really bad.
But
for
can't
rendering.
we just leave it with no triangulation?
No, because even if I delete these to the computer, this is still triangulated.
Okay, so that's what I was asking. Yeah.
So it's always triangulated, no matter what you do. You're just visualizing it without triangulation. But actually, it's everything in the background is triangulated. But to get rid of that, I'm just going to click and drag an edge like this. And I'm going to flatten it. And now if we do it, it's much better because they don't stretch too long. And they don't pinch, so they're much better. And then for optimization, I would just cut this like that and get rid of these. And in this case,
Chad is now requesting bumper mirrors.
Bumper mirrors, okay.
To go along with the hood mirrors.
Nice. It's classic. So I'm going to turn off my wireframe. Look at it. Now you see we're getting some shading errors. So there's several ways to fix this. We can steal the normals from the base mesh, which I didn't save, but we can easily create that. Or I'm just going to show our internal tools because I think that's much better. So in our Euro Trucks tab, we have this artist tools. And in it, there is a vertex normal copy, which is created. It's a script basically written in Mel or Python. I don't know which language. It's one of the two by our programming department. So I'll just select the faces that I want. I'll click faces to perimeter, and we'll just flatten everything.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah. I don't understand how it works either. It's magic, but kudos to our programmers for doing it. I think this comes default in Blender, so for those of you who use it.
Can we make the bumper a different color?
Yeah, we could, but not right now.
Because people are complaining that's kind of hard to see with the gray on gray.
Okay, we could do that actually right now. We will go into our hypershade.
See, Chad, I got your back.
Take our funk. What color do you want?
Pink. Yeah.
Okay.
Now it just looks like there's a texture missing.
That looks hideous. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I think we can make it
make it a little more like rosy pink, yeah. Just yeah.
We can make it red.
No, not red.
Red is hot.
No.
Red is hot. Okay.
No, pink.
Pink, sure. Just desaturate it a little.
Yeah, go all the way to the right with the Y. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Perfect. Nice soft pink.
Nice. Okay. Can definitely see now.
This is Peterbilt that color at the Kenley 95 truck stop. If you're heading through there.
To any particular music while modeling? Mostly drum, bass, and metalcore. But I like to listen to different types of music every now and then. But I think for working, the more aggressive, the better. Kind of gets me in flow state. Right now, I've been listening to Imanu a lot.
And so you use something like really hard and fast to get you.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite, man. I'm like country music, like listening to guys singing about their truck running away and their dog dying, and yeah,
classics.
Yeah, it really gets me in the mood for working.
Yeah.
How's your band doing?
We're doing well, actually. Yeah. Working on a third song. I've been kind of slacking on it, but I'm trying to get it mixed and hopefully release it in a month or two. We'll see. I don't want to set some deadline for myself, but
like a whole EP?
No, we're just doing singles for now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's easier. We're just doing it as a hobby, so it's not something.
You're telling me you guys found a new space to jam, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys end up taking that one, or you keep using the old one?
We did. Because it's cheaper in the long term. Makes more sense for us.
President Stan says that Andi working, Mark trying to get his attention, Andi not hearing a thing. The way I get my coworkers' attention is just by standing above them threateningly until they look. It usually works.
Yeah, typically. I think your presence has
A certain aura.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, Mark's coming.
The stomping of the boots.
Yeah.
Everyone makes fun of me because I wear steel-toe boots to the office, but it's just what's comfortable to me.
Anyways, now I'm going to extrude the whole bumper and push it down on the inside so we can get the inside faces here. And what would you say the thickness of this should be? Like,
oh, it's not terribly thick. I would say like 3/8 of an inch.
We're not going to be super accurate with the measurements. Something like that looks right to you?
Yeah, maybe even a little. A little more maybe.
Yeah, I'll do it until these vertices touch ends because we're going to be merging them anyways.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I just going to delete the inside faces. As you can see on the selection there, we have them selected. I'm just going to get rid of them because we don't want them. And for some reason, my bumper is black. That's because our normals are inverted because during extrusion, I went inside instead of outside. But it's a very easy fix. In the mesh display, we can just reverse.
You got to tell us what you're doing, man.
And yeah, trying.
Okay.
Yeah. So reverse, but because I have the vertex copy tool open and the normals were locked, we have to redo our perimeters. So
what is your favorite object that you've made in Blender? But I think he just means in general in Maya or Blender.
Favorite model, I guess.
Probably the one you're doing right now, right?
I'd say the one before that was a bit more enjoyable for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the other super secret.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That we cannot talk about at all.
Otherwise, Namiro will time or not. Was it not time travel?
Not just Namiro, I think will.
Yeah, entire management will come and hear him.
Stream is canceled, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish we could tell you, but it's really.
We just like leave the studio. There'd just be like a lineup of our fellow employees just like standing there, like just getting ready to.
We deserve it too. Okay, so what I've done there is on the inside faces, I've merged a bunch of beveled edges because I don't want the detail on the inside because it will be less visible. It will be covered by the wheel. It'll be covered by the shadow. It'll be covered by ambient occlusion. Maybe we'll put some cables and whatever there later.
Okay.
So we don't need details there at all. Should be flat. Now it is. So we don't have any shading errors there. I always check for shading errors. And I don't like how straight these are, so I'm just going to take this edge and bevel them. Because in reality, nothing is that sharp. And you see we have some leftover triangles, so we're just going to target weld them like that.
Doesn't that create exactly that thing you don't want?
It does. So we have to figure out how to fix that. But
actually, these are pretty sharp in real life, because typically it's done by a machine.
Yeah, but we still want.
I would bevel it even less than that before you start fixing the triangle thingies.
But when you look at it from afar, looks kind of. All right. You're the boss.
Listen. One of us has driven like a dozen different trucks in his career, and one of us has a Subaru. Okay.
Fair point. Okay. So
you want to fight Baconator, man?
So like that?
Yeah, that's good. What?
Did a little more than that. All right.
Is that the same? Is that why you're looking at me like that? You're
There's not much difference. But I mainly wanted for that nice effect. You see, like those shiny edges.
Oh, Micah Hawk is telling us that he got their new Hori steering wheel today. So shout out to Oscar for working with Hori to get that wheel. Not necessarily tailored to us, but it works very well with our game.
Okay, so now we have to think about
kind of tailored for us.
Fixing that. Okay.
Oh, we never got to talk about your Subi last stream.
No, we were too focused on it.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about that? You want to tell the world about your new pride and joy?
My 24-year-old WRX But yeah, it's
almost as old as Benny.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's old.
I didn't hear.
How old are you, Benny? Do you want to tell the world that? Use your fingers to tell me.
I can't.
Okay.
I will be 28 in May.
Okay.
So almost the same.
Almost, yeah.
Think we can fix it like this. Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, I'm just too focused on the modeling process. It's kind of hard to multitask, but I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to fix the pinching triangulation issues. But I think that should be good like that. So you can see actually the detailing process typically takes the most time, which is why you wouldn't want to do massive changes to this after it's done.
Oh, so I shouldn't ask for more major changes?
You could, but
we'd have to go back and
probably
fix
not
things.
going to happen.
I see.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just need to soften the edges that we had before, but because we had to invert some normals, things broke. Because what happens when we use this internal tool, it will fix the normals for us, but it will also lock them. And what that means is that you can't edit them unless you unlock them. So sometimes you get weird sort of artifacting. Yeah, so our shading errors are back now. You can see this kind of pinch here, but we can easily fix that. Just, yeah. Faces to perimeter. And on the side as well. We can just look at what we created. I must have selected something by accident there. Perfect. Okay.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining Random Shoelace __. We're currently making a moose bumper / grill guard / rear bumper / deer protection guard, etc. for the W900. Just a kind of we wanted to do something simple, but not like just like simple. Like if we did a visor for the truck, it would be like what, half-hour work?
Pretty much.
Just to model it. Obviously, there's more
something
with texturing and
slightly
stuff
more
like that.
complex.
Yeah, so we want something, with a few different shapes and stuff like that. So we decided on a moose bumper. Originally, I wanted to do the visor because I love drop visors, but Andy told me no. He said it would be a waste of his skills and time.
I didn't say that, but
yes, that was a quote, exact words. Yeah,
exactly. But another great thing about this vertex copy tool is that even on an edge that's singular like this, where you would typically need a bevel to get this kind of nice smoothed effect, it will still do it for us. So actually, this tool not only helps us fix shading issues, but it also helps us keep the polycount low while kind of faking the illusion that there's more to it.
Now, question, how much detail can you put into this before you get to a point where like you got to consider that in the game engine, with the limitations most people have on their PCs and stuff like this, that like 90% of people probably won't even see these kinds of details,
Yeah, well, it all depends on the visibility, right? So a part like this is quite an important piece of the truck, I would say.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I would allocate a few thousand, maybe like 2 or 3 for this whole piece. And again, as I said, stuff that will be here on the inside we won't care too much about, because actually in the end this will all be covered. So I'm kind of prioritizing the detailing process based on that, right? So these edges that are on the front, I want them looking nice and smooth. But these ones on the inside, I won't even bother beveling because they won't be so visible.
Now, we do have some kind of visual issues here where the bar meets the bumper. Do you see that?
Yeah, exactly. That's because we only have a block out of this.
Oh, okay, I see.
And we have...
So we'll have to like add that in, yeah.
Exactly.
Haulage Knowledge, nice name, is asking, is it necessary to have a moose bumper? And the question, the answer to that, if you had asked me before September 2015, I would say no, it's not necessary. After September 2015, I would say absolutely. I've never put them on one of my trucks because we're pretty weight sensitive in the operation.
What happened on September 15th?
My entire front end got annihilated by a truck from a certain company, which as much as I would love to put them on blast, I can't. So my truck was pretty messed up. The visual damage wasn't that bad. It was the fender, the headlight, the grill got tweaked, but they pulled that out in the body shop without actually having to fully replace it. But we did replace it anyways. And then my dad didn't like it, and he put the old one back on, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, it was quite a bit of damage. But the big issue was the axle. They tweaked the axle, the steering, all that. Basically, I was sleeping in a parking spot. Guy beside me decided to leave and just dragged his trailer axles across my front end. So, and that truck was like completely perfect before that. Like, it was old truck by then. It was my 2003 Pete. So in 2015, it was already 12 years old. So, some of the clear coat on the roof and all that was starting to fade and stuff like that. But that truck never drove the same since. It's still got a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head after knowing about it, but it's just like, oh man, if I could be one in a room with that driver. But yeah, so after that, I'm a big proponent for moose guards because they don't just help against meese. They don't just help against moose. They help against other things as well, other careless drivers and stuff like that. So because they're durable, man. Like, you got to think of what a moose weighs, and you hit one at, like, that kind of speed, and these bumpers, like, barely even move,
Mm-hmm. So it's more like insurance for your truck.
It's just safety, yeah. They don't weigh that much, between 150, 200 pounds. I mean, I wanted to run one, but because we were so weight sensitive, like, sometimes I couldn't even fill my fuel tanks up halfway. Like, I had to, like, run a quarter tank all the way down to Florida just so I could scale the load we had, right? So if I wasn't so weight sensitive, I would absolutely 100% have one. And yeah, those guards are like super durable. Those little ones that you just like put into the tow holes on the front bumper, those little tube ones, they don't really do much. I would not even waste my money on buying one personally. Some are better than others, I will say that. But, I mean, if you hit anything substantial, they're not going to do much more than the regular bumper, I think. But these big ones, yeah, they absolutely work and do the job.
Yeah, so I've moved on to the pillar here and just doing the bevels to match with the rest of the bumper.
Nice.
What about this part? Would it come snug with the...
So we'll have to put a bevel on the top. No, how would you do that?
Do we want it to follow the same line? Or
yeah,
not?
I think so. I think,
okay.
Whatever company in the SCS ATS game world is making this bumper, they would want to make it look really like nice and uniform, right?
So I think I need more geometry there, probably. Yeah. I think we just bevel that. Yeah. So just do a little bit of cleanup. Probably going too fast again, I'm sorry, but I just...
Mark, what are the round objects on both sides in front of the cab? Are they part of the exhaust system? No, those are the air intakes. These old trucks have a dual air intake setup. Depending on the truck, like, you can order them with one, I think. Maybe not anymore, but in the old days you could order them with just one intake on the passenger side. So it's basically just a big hollow barrel, and inside that goes this great big round filter. And yeah, it's just air intake, air filter. That's all it is. And then you got tubes that run through the cowl into the engine bay. They meet up together, and then they whoop to the turbo.
So if I want to get the bevel correct for here, I kind of have to go around this whole line. And we can optimize it later, because if I just do it without, you can see we will get this strange-looking artifact there.
I see.
But if we go around the whole side, it looks much more correct. And actually, that might end up looking nicer in the end. So I'll keep it for now, and if it's a problem for the poly count later, we can always fix it. Sometimes getting these right can be annoying, but...
Oh, I see you can see we're not even lined up quite perfectly. Does that affect it much? Or okay.
We'll do it bit by bit. So, yeah. We just need to get that right. I can just snap it.
What is going on with my mic? Oh, it's this one. Benny, my mic's broken.
Oh, is it? I mean, people can probably still hear you, right?
Oh, I fixed it. I fixed it,
Nice.
Benny. Yeah, I'm good.
All right,
much
so
better.
we got the lines looking correct now.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not sure about this at the bottom, so maybe we can fix it.
What's wrong with it?
Do you want to keep this kind of bevel going?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's fine.
All right.
This is a premium high-end product, okay?
I got you. All right. But yeah, now we have to fix our smoothing again. So as you can see, it's a lot of iteration back and forth. Luckily, I got my tool open here, so we can just select everything. Oh, I see something broke here, but this should be easy to fix. Hello, can you align, please?
You're talking to me?
No.
Oh,
Talking
okay.
to... Why won't that align? Okay, never mind. Can fix it like that.
So if you were, you know, I don't even know what to say. If you had a 120 hertz refresh rate on your TV or monitor and running the stream at 60 frames a second, then probably you saw what Andy just did, but I didn't, and I'm right here beside him. Slow down, Andy.
I'm trying.
Jeez.
But
guy.
it's really just the same things that I've been...
You don't have your music on. You don't have to work this fast.
It's in my blood. Now we're just getting rid of some excess geometry that we don't need. It's kind of ruining everything.
Like them cylinders up there?
Yeah. But yeah, as you can see, yeah, so we have a hardened edge here that I want to smooth. So I'm going to do that. And as you can see, it broke our shading, but we're going to fix that right now.
And we still have a hard edge on the...
We can fix that. But right now I'm just going to fix this bottom parts. Just use our internal tool. As you can see, completely flattened everything. And then just have a look around the model for...
President Stan, 2005, says Andy does this a lot.
Yeah, I do this for a living.
8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah, I do this for a living.
Holly's Knowledge wants to know how often you and I meet. Every day?
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
Every day. Sometimes on weekends too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna get rid of this face for now because I just want to quickly smooth it to see how it will look. It keeps breaking the inside for some reason.
Will either of us be at Fan Day?
Fan Day? When is that?
I don't know. I think March. I have to Google
at
it.
The office?
I have to SCS blog.
I don't know. People are asking what the pink is for. It's because Mark wanted a pink color.
Yeah.
It's his favorite color.
SCS
Just
blog.
keeping Mark happy. Can I get rid of it?
No, we're keeping the pink. Get out of here. So SCS Fan Day Experience Volume 2. That is going to be happening on the 28th of March. Oh, that's in a couple weeks.
20th of March. Yeah, I'll be here. So
unfortunately, applications have already closed. You had to apply by the 28th of February. But yeah. All right, any of you guys in the chat, were you selected? Or I don't even know if they've already selected anyone.
I honestly don't know how it works.
Yeah, you have home office how many days a week? None?
I very rarely.
Yeah.
I only take home office if I really have to. But
Yeah.
I'm at the office every day.
Yeah, so
pretty
unless
much.
you have, you don't have holidays that day or anything like that?
I'm on vacation in April.
Okay, so on the Fan Day
Here.
experience, we'll make sure we all stop by your desk and bother you.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Sounds good. It's kind of weird there, but yeah, so in this case, I have some faces on the inside. You can see this beveled edge is actually hidden, so we really don't need it. We can just get rid of those faces to save a little bit on
Actually kind of fixed our little problem at the back too, didn't it? A little bit. Still kind of there.
It's still kind of weird on this one.
Does that bar need to...
I would have to think about this a little more, I think. But we just need to, snap some things so that they get better. But now we could actually connect these two pieces if we want them to kind of flow better in terms of the shading, especially this part here. But in reality, they would be separate components, right? We kind of just weld
it would be like welded on, yeah.
Yeah. So later we can, when we start to texture this, add some details on the
that's the
there.
thing is they're welded on, but usually they grind them like flat before the chroming process.
Okay.
Unless it's polished aluminum, then it's just grinded flat and polished.
I see. Yeah, I'd have to think about how to solve this one.
But you can really see, chat. I mean, we're 50 minutes into this stream. Last stream we got the entire bumper basically built and blocked out, and this time it's it's like more. The process. The farther along you get, it gets kind of slower and slower as you perfect it, right? So, if you saw the first stream, and you thought, "Wow, they made that bumper in an hour!" Like, man, they should be able to cough out a truck in like 2 weeks.
But you also see how many times I go back and forth to fix technical things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll smooth some edges and then do something else, and it will break some things, and I have to go back and fix. So it's really an iterative process, and that's why this part of the modeling phase takes the most time, because you're going back and forth, and you're also trying to think about the topology, trying to think about the poly count, trying to think about optimization and everything like that. So that's why things can take a lot more time. I actually see that we've kind of made a mistake here, because this should have been more rounded like that. But
true.
Now it'll be late because I already beveled these things.
It's never too late.
And I don't want to undo a lot. So how can we do this?
We could make it sloped kind of the same way the main part is kind of sloped. At the top, see?
Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to think about it. Because in an ideal world, what I should have done is I'll quickly demonstrate. If I had this, right, imagine that's our pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Before beveling the sides, I would have beveled these.
To
get that.
I see.
And then bevel that to get the correct shape. So I kind of backed myself into a corner here.
You've got 7 minutes to correct it.
Can we do it in 7 minutes?
Yep. I believe in you.
All right.
Chat, come on, let's give him some encouragement. Truck and Jimmy says you better just start over.
Yeah, that's sometimes what I do. And in this case, that's exactly what I'll do. It should be relatively simple to do that. We'll just get rid of these ones and these ones. Move these back to where they should be, aligned with this, because we're going to bevel it again later. And I just, make sure that my pivots are oriented.
Speedy Gonzalez over here.
There we go. And then I can fill this gap. And now we can get it correct.
Benny, can we get some Lamb of God music going in the studio for Andy?
Okay, that looks much better. But maybe it's a little too blocky, so I'm going to add a little bit more segments to it. And when I do these types of curved surfaces, I try to make sure that the distance between the edges
get that nice curve,
somewhat equal. Especially the more bendy it gets, the tighter those gaps should be. But I think that looks fine. Now we can soften that. That looks way more correct. And if we're not happy with the block here, I'd actually do that again, but add a few more segments. maybe 6. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks better.
That looks way better. Because now we got rid of that low poly feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to save on geometry, but I'm also trying to make it look nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we can do that. And now we can correct our bevels. We don't need it here at the bottom. Typically, it helps if you remember your fraction numbers, which I don't.
What do you want to know?
No, I mean, when you bevel, in the fraction tells you the... But actually, it depends, because sometimes they don't carry over.
I deal in inches, so I'm good with fractions. But only if it's in 32nds, 16ths, eighths, or quarters.
I see. So I'm just going to orient this to snap it there. Same goes for this one. Orient and snap it. But we would like to do that for the whole thing.
CS GTI.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of car is a CS?
CS.
CS. Is that a reference to a car? GTI? CS
know.
GTI? He's asking if this is just a model for the stream or a real work for future updates.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Depends on what chat thinks.
Yeah, depends on how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going a little quiet. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to focus on the task at hand. So I have a little bit of a mismatch there, but I'm gonna fix it later. For now, I just want to know if we have the correct shape. So that looks a lot better than what we had before, I think. And in these cases where I'm off by a little bit, typically I'll just fake it and snap it here, even though now this distance is more than that. But I think when you look at it from like the in-game camera, you would barely ever tell the difference. Of course, it's nice to do it a bit more correct.
I mean, now that they've seen it in the stream,
exactly. Now the illusion's broken.
Bug reports coming in.
Exactly. But I can tell you, 3D artists will do that a lot. Maybe I shouldn't reveal all of our secrets, but just do a cut like that so that we can...
And maybe we can make this bumper in real life and sell it.
We could. Get royalties for it.
Yeah. A little side hustle going.
Yeah, why not?
SCS fabrication.
Yeah. And again, the reason I added this loop here is so I can constrain this vertex from creating triangles all the way up there, because I don't want that.
Right.
And then we can just close this like that. And this one like that. And I think now we can just do triangulation from Maya itself. That's kind of bad. And for some reason, my multi-cut is not snapping how it should be. So it's nice to double check that, but it seems fine now. But I think to get rid of that bad triangulation, again, in cases like this, I would just go in and start to manually triangulate.
These don't look like triangles.
Well, they are technically. Like, whether it's like this or like that, it doesn't make much difference in this case. So I'm just going to leave it to the...
Oh, let it figure it out itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And in this case, I want... Yeah, you see, it should snap to it, but it doesn't. Do we have... Okay, no. Now, in a perfect world, I'll just cut this in half and duplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
So that I don't have to do this work twice. But I'm just going to leave it because I would have to do the same thing there. Yeah, but now when I have it ready, I can just soften it, which will create all sorts of shading errors. But that's why we got our tool here on hand. Just gonna grab everything.
Air Cruise, I have to ask, what was it like driving a truck without hood mirrors? It was quite enjoyable, right? You have to admit. He's talking about he had a dream where he imagined he was driving my truck from the video.
With hood mirrors.
Yeah.
What's with you and hood mirrors?
I don't know, man. They kill the look of these long nose trucks. You know, on an aero truck, you know, they're more like stylized and all that, right? But these hood mirrors on the classic trucks, to me, they just like they're so off putting. And yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I've had them on like company trucks I've driven, and I don't know. I find I don't use them. I don't know what my problem is with them. It's just one of those things that irks me. Yeah. Well, Andy.
Yeah, so we've done some detailing on the bumper.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it takes quite a lot of time to get everything looking sharp and smooth, but that looks already a lot better than it did when we started.
Yeah, I mean...
but of course, I spent more than an hour on these things.
That's it, yeah.
So from concluding the stream, I would say for next time we have to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely fix that, because this is now breaking the illusion. You can see we have the nice little bevel going here and here, but the continuity of it is kind of broken. So that takes a little bit of time to correct the topology for and get it looking correct. I guess we could just connect these two parts. That would be the best solution.
I mean, in real life, you would probably even see these imperfections. I wouldn't even... Like,
yeah.
To me, probably it's not the end of the world, but I know it would be nicer to have it without. So, yeah, that's definitely something we can do next stream. But, yeah, guys, you can really take out... you can really see, like, the difference between the first modeling stream. Like, it seemed so easy getting to this stream and doing these fine details. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Hood mirrors take out the blind spots that are in the regular mirrors. But if you're paying attention, you have no blind spots.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, if you're always paying attention to what cars are around you and what's beside you and all that, you'd have no blind spots. I drove for 2.5 million kilometers roughly in North America, and never did I sideswipe a car. Wow.
Yeah.
Never. Except that one time. That was their fault.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a story for another stream, chat. Tune in next time to any of our SDS live streams. They're all pretty fun, right? What did we have this week? We had Namiro tackling the final exams on Driving Academy. On Tuesday, we had the Star Nation live stream. So if you miss any of those, go back and take a look. But otherwise, I think we're just about done here. Andy, what do you think for today?
Yeah, for today, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, just showing some typical steps that I would be doing. But as you can see, it's a very iterative type of process where you just go over the same motions over and over again, trying to make it look better with each iteration. But I hope that with these streams, we can provide a little bit of an insight on what it actually takes to make a model for the game.
Yeah, it's always kind of funny. Like, we see so many like comments, like even at the beginning of the stream, like, why are you guys doing this? Why aren't you making trucks right now? And it's like, if only it were that easy.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that what we're doing right now?
Well, yeah.
Literally.
But it's not the truck he wants right now. But anyways.
We'll get to it eventually.
So I think that's all we have time for today. Andy, thank you for showing us your expertise and
thank you for having me.
All of your talent. Benny, thank you for everything you do behind the scenes. You're a master of your art. And chat, thank you for tuning in. That's going to be all for us for today. So make sure you tune in next week for more SCS live streams. And make sure you stay tuned to the blog and our socials for all the up-to-date, newest information from us here at SCS Software about Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator. Thanks a lot. See you next time.
See you.